Matthew Truscott, you're the founder of the Project Resistance. What does that mean?
Being a founder means you found something.
Yeah. No, I mean the Project Resistance brand. What does it stand for? What's different? Why is Project Resistance a different kind of education company?
Yeah, cool. The Project Resistance is, even the name is just to go against the grain. We're not talking about just resistance in terms of picking things up and putting them down, being a resistance on the body. That's part of it. But what we try to do and strive for is to be resistance against the norm. And right now you have two norms. You have the strength and conditioning world. You have your CrossFits. You have your, coaches that coach actual sports and athletics teams, or just strength and conditioning coaches. And then you have your three-dimensional movers. These are your functional movement patterns, right? These are the guys that want to focus on how do we move the body in real time in motion.
Okay.
And they're both great. They've both seen a lot of results in what they do. However, I don't see them as too different. I see them as complements that would meet in the middle, and if they met in the middle, it would be right here. Project Resistance, that guy. That guy. That was corny, but it's the truth. What we like to do is we like to take the deadlifts, the squats, the snatch, the clean and jerk. I love those movements, but I still found myself getting bigger, stronger, faster in the gym, however, still not necessarily getting better at my sport all the time. Not everything in the clean translates to a faster sprint. There's no change of direction in a clean. There's no, excuse me, there's no true amount of deceleration other than in that squatted pattern that would help me in the same way as if I'm cutting in American football, and that's what I played.
Hmm.
So that was problems for me. So then as I got older and then got into the fitness industry, I see these guys that are functional training, and it almost looks like it's more so chaos. How much chaos can I create? I'll stand on a ball and reach with dumbbells, and then I'll take a cable machine and do 16 different patterns with it, which is fantastic for neural development, fantastic for movement patterning and challenging the fascial tissue in the lines that we need. But you can't tell me that squatting is irrelevant. You can't tell me that my feet will never do this. You can't tell me that I don't gain a significant amount of performance with a clean and jerk or snatch. It's just limited. So these guys are arguing, and a lot of times they're not even arguing the same thing. They're arguing apples to oranges a lot of times, but they just have different approaches. Now I think that the reason that the functional guys stay with the functional stuff is because they don't want to have to learn how to do both. And I don't think that the strength and conditioning guys want to worry about all these fascial lines when they can just focus on how do I teach the mechanics and the movement of cleans and jerks and snatch and deadlifts. So I don't think that people have stayed on either side of the other because they truly have a problem. I think they just found something that they like and they stuck with it.
Okay.
But it'd be ignorant to say that I can't deadlift and see benefits from it and then can't do these movement patterns and see benefits from it. Why not do both? And that's what we do. We do the both. I believe I can gain power doing three-dimensional movements relatively heavy to the movement pattern. I believe that I can do a deadlift instead of just working to max effort, change this deadlift ever so slightly to create a different response on the body. So we're trying to marry those two.
Yeah,
That's what we do.
that's great. So you work with a lot of like asymmetrical loading.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we like to do is the deadlift is great, but what if I have a little bit more load on the deadlift? Or if I had a barbell, and this is an even barbell, it's a piece of paper. It's a barbell, and say my hands are right here in the middle and it's symmetrical. Well, what if I shifted my hands over just a little bit? Same exact weight on both sides, but this side will feel a ton heavier.
So
And what that
why would you do that?
Yeah, fantastic. So why would I do that? Because nothing in real life is symmetrical. Not nothing, but most things are not symmetrical. If I'm
Mother,
carrying a TV, one side's going to be heavier than the other. If I'm carrying a couch, one side's going to be heavier than the other. When I get my groceries and I put them in a bag, they're typically not exactly the same.
yeah.
So asymmetrical loading happens in the body. And asymmetrical load happens in sports. Sorry, in real life with the body and in sports, if I was to play sports. So if I'm, like my client likes to play some intramural soccer. He doesn't have two people squeezing against him as he goes and kicks the ball. He typically has one person that's pushing this way as he's trying to kick the ball in some sort of direction. That's an asymmetrical load.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if I'm doing a deadlifting pattern or a squatting pattern, I like to load up one side. Maybe that'd be a kettlebell, maybe that'd be a dumbbell, or maybe that'd be a barbell shifted to one side. Because that will create a response where one side is working harder, yet the other side still has to work. It has to be switched on. It has to be able to transfer load and mitigate the stress throughout the entire system.
Yeah.
So asymmetrical loading for us is going to be huge.
Yeah. As well as 3-dimension deceleration.
Yeah. Yeah. So we mentioned the 3D stuff, and I kind of mentioned the linear stuff. And if I catch a clean, what's the most difficult part of the clean? Not accelerating it, it's decelerating it. Sitting down in the catch is what takes the most technique. Sure, I have to have, triple extension, and I have to get all these things to get the bar to move. That's absolutely correct. But if I were to get it up and then relax, just drop the bar, well, that would still create power. That is force generation. I don't create more force by catching it. I learn how to decelerate by catching it. But that's the hardest part. So I have a tremendous amount of load, and then I'm trying to catch. Well, that catch is great. Deceleration is necessary. But when I'm in life or sport, where am I decelerating? I'm typically not decelerating straight forward on 2 feet. I don't go to cross the street and see a car and like, oh, wait, let me stop on 2 feet. Typically, I have to stop on 1 foot and snap back.
Yeah.
Or if I am playing with my nephews, I'm cutting back and forth to run from them on the beach, just playing games. I mean, they're 5 years old and 2 years old. They're not very fast, but I'm just going to let them catch me. I got to be Uncle Matt. So anyways, the idea here is that I need 3-dimensional deceleration because this is going to help fortify stronger connective tissue in 3-dimensional space.
Yeah.
So this is going to help us, in essence, in theory, have stronger connective tissue. So hopefully, to make a cut, or when I'm carrying, again, I love the carrying the couch theory. That's my favorite. Carrying a couch up the stairs and something becomes unbalanced, I can change and adapt to that.
Yeah.
And so that's very, very necessary. I think the thing that got lost with the clean or the snatch, we were using that for power, for force development. However, there's a very cool bit of information that's out now. There's a recent article that was in February. I can't remember the gentleman's name. There's 2 gentlemen. They argued that if I want force generation, the clean is great, but I don't need to do the full clean.
Yeah.
They argue I only need to do a clean pull or a clean high pull. That's it.
Okay.
Because then I don't have to worry about the catch. Now, myself, Matt, I can clean pull well over 300 pounds. I cannot clean and drop down underneath 300 pounds. But I also don't need to because Matt does not, I'm not interested in going into an Olympic lifting competition. That's not necessary for me. I want to still be able to dunk a basketball. So guess what? That helps me.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that catching weight is not important. That's not what I'm saying, because I just 2 seconds ago said that deceleration drills are very important. What I'm suggesting is if I'm trying to improve power and force production, I can produce more if I don't have to catch.
Yeah.
So we'll just drive them up and release. And we've started to do that with Project Resistance and the programming that we're creating. So we're releasing, but then we still have to respect that the body needs to learn how to catch.
Yeah.
It needs to learn how to decelerate. And that's when we start to mix both. So we'll start doing a clean day where we're just accelerating. So we're letting the bar go at the top. Reset, let the bar go at the top. And then from there, you walk over into another drill to where it'd be a 3-dimensional deceleration.
Okay.
So we'd work on some sort of ladder footwork, or we